Greetings, people of the greater world! Broadcasting live from the Academy at the largest library in the known realms, this is Storytime Q&A, a Realm Jumper talkback show. Hello and welcome back to the final episode of Storytime Q&A for Realm Jumper Season 1! I am here today with two... who the fuck am I? As always, I'm your host, Austin. I'm the voice of Oliver, etc. And I am here with the voice of Chase and Charlie, Sleepy!
I've never heard of these characters a day in my life.
and not as always, but we are also here with our fearless leader, Bubblytarts.
Hello.
Yes. Show's done. We're here.
Season 1 over.
So much to talk about. But yes, let's not waste any time. We got a lot of questions to get through. But yes, for Bubbly, this first one's for you. How does it feel to have a season completed of a show/story you've created after these few years from Kara?
It's so weird. The day that I think it actually didn't hit me until the day before the estory went out. Well, the evening before the episode went out, when I was in call with Sleepy doing the video editing, and we watched the storybook of Luther's get done, and I went, "Oh my god, it's like real! Oh shit, the first season's done! Oh, the first season's done! Oh my goodness, it's so cool."
Oh, I was also just going to extend that to Sleepy as well, because like they're also very entrenched in this.
Absolutely.
It hit me when I finished Charlie's lines. I did need to lie down for a bit after that. Even though at that point I still had an art piece to finish, and I ended up doing the video editing. It hit me when I finished Charlie. I had to lie down. I was like, holy shit, RJ season 1. Wait, I forget if we can swear on the show.
We can. I said fuck in the first one.
I said shit.
I forgot.
We swear constantly here. We're not making money off of this. This is.
And the last time I was on one of these episodes was episode 1.
Oh Jesus! Oh my God!
Have you really not been on since then?
Years ago.
Oh man,
that's insane.
If I were a better host, I would have called attention to that, but I didn't. So hey, here we are.
I'm back. But no, I never. I guess to go back to it, I never really had that final moment of wow, show done. Because to peel back the curtain a little bit, if you're cool with that, Bubbly,
it's really funny. Do it.
The final episode of Realm Jumper, to make sure it came out the day it did, involved the torch being handed to me at 2:00 in the morning, the day the episode went live.
Holy shit, okay.
To which I pulled...
I was going to say, if I may, because I carry the torch first.
Yes, have the torch.
Due to a series of unfortunate events, not on anyone else's behalf, just genuinely due to the schedules of people and the way that things worked out, I was on, basically, assume I was never home in the month of July, and the episode came out August 10th, the finale did. Assume I was never home during July, because I had a lot of things going on, even when I wasn't, on a vacation or hanging out with my friends. I was very busy. I in fact did a lot of real life stuff this summer. So the month of July happens, and episode 12 was about to come out at the time, and I was like, cool, episode 12 is going to come out while I'm on vacation, and I won't have to worry about 13 because I'll have an editor on it. And due to a series of people's schedules, there were no editors available. So I went, well, I can audio edit. This is fine. And the episode came out August 10th. I believe I knew around the end of July, early August, that there were no editors available, and it had to be me doing the audio editing. Now, I've done audio editing before, several times for the show, in fact. However, I was also doing real life stuff. So, the week before the episode came out, my friends did not see me. Sleepy can vouch, because Sleepy and I talk every day. Sleepy did not see me.
Was shirtless. The only time I spoke with Bubbly, not to plug, was when I was live streaming, and Bubbly is a permanent guest on the channel.
Mhm.
Plug.
Plug. Sleepy Sheepy Productions.
Sleepy Sheepy Productions. On Twitch. And YouTube. But so eventually, I was at the point where I'm like, the entire day on Friday, I had told my family, I need this day. I will not do anything with you. I will leave you. I'm going to sit in this room, and I'm going to finish this episode. And I worked on it so much that I got a headache, and then I had to take a little break for dinner, and then I went back to it. And I finished it at 2 in the morning, and then I jumped in a call immediately with Sleepy and B and Juno as my witnesses. And I went, here is the finished episode for audio, and handed it to Sleepy. It goes out in 12 hours.
That
Oh my
point,
god.
I lock in. I go downstairs, I open up my fridge, and I pull out the large cold brew I ordered from Dunkin' Donuts several hours earlier that had nothing but cold foam and flavoring, no milk or sugar to dilute it.
Oh, Duncan. Oh no. Speaking of someone who worked at Duncan many years ago. Oh. So much caffeine.
I entered a fugue state. The energy was unhinged. I blacked out. Bubbly gave me the login information for Realm Jumper so that I could handle the upload, as I have a computer built for streaming. I did not go to bed. I did not, officially finish and go to bed. Because I needed to make sure that the episode uploaded. Because my ass did not want to be woken up if the episode was not properly uploaded. I did not go to bed until 6 o'clock in the morning.
And so that was 5 a.m. my time because I stayed up. I was barely awake. Juno was the one keeping Sleepy going. Because Juno's the furthest time zone of the four of us who were in that call. So B and I were basically passed out. Sleepy was trying not to die, and Juno was going, "You got this, Sleepy, you got this!" Until eventually it's uploaded. All of us immediately say, "Cool, I'll see you tomorrow." We all pass out, and then we all wake up like normal people right before the episode drops.
Yeah.
I woke up at 10 a.m. the next morning on the day the episode came out. I immediately logged onto my computer, saw that the episode was sitting there unlisted, changed it to a premiere, added all the stuff in the description, added all the fancy bells and whistles to the premiere, and then immediately went, had some breakfast, and then did absolutely nothing until the episode actually dropped and I jumped in the call to go cool. And then I stayed there for like the rest of the day.
Oh my god.
Did much of the same, except I slept in till like noon. My mom had tried to wake me up, did not work. I wake up, I am like barely existing. I do the episode. I was doing cooking. Any time that was not spent actively cooking, I was spending lying on the ground of the kitchen. This is not an exaggeration.
Oh no.
It's not.
I felt like God. I felt like shit. I felt like God. I felt untouchable. It was incredible. Transcendent experience. Cannot recommend.
Well,
So anyway, show being done feels great.
Oh yeah, thriving.
to actually answer the question directly. Sorry, we've been trying to tell that story to everyone. By the way, we do not condone this. Typically, this doesn't happen to Realm Jumper. It was just a slew of a lot of things happened all at once.
Friendly reminder that we do this for fun.
Friendly reminder we do this for fun. None of us are getting paid for this.
Yeah.
I went insane. It was incredible.
So much fun. I cannot recommend the Fugue State, but goddamn did we have fun.
It's like
no better feeling than being with your best friends in the world and losing your goddamn mind.
Oh my god.
It was amazing. Actual answer is that it feels really good to have the show because that first season took us 2.5 years from casting call to last episode release. And I've never run a production this big. I'm not someone who was in a lot of creative spaces prior to making Realm Jumper. I was in a couple, but it was so neat to see something that I was a part of, that my friends were a part of. I'd only seen a couple indie projects that I had like been invested in that had actually started and finished.
Mm.
And so it was so cool to see all these people show up to the finale of the season and all these people say, wow, that was so cool. I can't wait to see what comes next.
Mm.
And the fact that we still have more, obviously, but I've always said from the beginning that season 1 is technically a contained narrative. But obviously there's like bits and pieces that you'll have to wait for season 2 for. But it's a finished story, technically. The first season is a finished story that is now out there, and people can, from beginning to end, see everything pay off. It's really cool.
How has playing the boys over the course of the show changed? This is from Meg. I was like, how is this is something that's been asked to a couple people on the show. Like, how I think like that like Spy is like the other person's like, how is playing two characters and how is having two parallel story arcs? How has that been for you as the main characters of the show?
How has it changed? I got a new mic. I'm kidding.
I mean, technically that is a change.
My little fun fact before I actually answer the question is go to episode 3. Chase and Charlie have different audio qualities because I got a new mic in between recording boys.
It was really funny. For the record, no one noticed except for one of our friends. One of our friends who does this like for a living approached me and said, "Did Sleepy get a new mic?" And I went, "Yeah." And they're like, "It sounds good."
How it has changed, his kind of proportionate to there are two factors. There is the me getting to know the characters better. Chase Bradbury changed more because I thought Chase Bradbury had anxiety when I was first handed the character. No, I was a scared little bitch baby. And I was projecting my anxieties onto the character. But over time, I really I got to know him. As odd as that may sound, I really like to embody my characters when I am like voice acting or playing them. And getting to know Chase was kind of learning like, oh no, you're not me. You're not like a little anxious about being in this new place. You're really excited and super genuine and earnest just all of the time.
If anything, it makes you annoying as hell to some people.
Exactly.
Namely, your own self.
Charlie did not change as much. Weirdly, because in some ways, Charlie and Chase are both characters I relate to. Charlie hits a little closer to home for me. So I have always kind of I always kind of got him. I clicked with him. It took me a little bit to click with Chase. Which I feel like if you know me IRL, you would expect that to be the other way around, because I try to be super nice. But no, actually, it's Charlie the little fuck up. I'm like, ah, shit, that's me.
Charlie the little fuck up.
But the other thing that changed was just my ability to voice act in general. I have always been like a person who really likes to, do voices. I've been doing it since I was a child, watching comic dubs on YouTube. I like to mimic what I see and what I've done. And over these 2.5 years, I have really been able to hone and change the voices, and I can slip into them a lot easier now. The difference between episode 1 and episode 13 is insane. It's weird. And part of that part of that is actually really interesting. It's because the more I voiced the boys, the more I got a lot harder on myself with just, they can't sound like me. Recording sessions would take longer because I started trying to remove my own voice from the equation. Because I actually, despite being a voice actor, I hate the sound of my own voice.
I think that's speaking as a voice actor as well. It is a very similar relationship with my own voice.
Yeah. So I'm just like, well, I'm playing these boys as an AFAB person. Let's just keep making them sound more like boys. So really that's been the changes, is it's been a lot of like getting to know them both and kind of learn how they tick, and getting to develop my skills, and also new microphones.
Yes.
So many new microphones.
This is sort of this is kind of piggybacking off of just playing the boys, but there's a lot of superlatives in this Q&A, which is fitting because it's the end. Well, it's not the end, but it's the but this is a favorite from radio. Do you, Sleepy, have any favorite lines or monologues from playing the boys that you'd like to call out?
Easy.
And I guess I mean, again, I will also always extend this to Bubbly as well.
All right, but Sleepy, pop off, please.
Yes.
Episode 5 of Realm Jumper. Dante Shadowblade! 100% my favorite monologue to do for the show. Hands down, it was so goofy. I have been playing D&D for 6 years now. I'm old and crusty, but my first online project was a D&D show. Like, just, I play D&D all the time. It is like kind of my main way of storytelling in a way. So getting to actually like play the goofiest, edgiest D&D character was just incredible. I also really loved Charlie in episodes 12 and 13, and just getting to fucking destroy one Luther Williams.
So
We'll be getting to him soon, don't worry.
Was incredible. It felt amazing, and just getting to put that much like raw emotion and passion into a character was really nice. As for Chase, my favorite things to voice with Chase is honestly any time he is being soft and genuine with Tina, because like I said earlier, I very much embody my characters when I am voice acting as them, especially in episode 13 when Chase talks to Tina. I feel like I am getting a warm hug, and I am filled with the fuzziest feelings of just that puppy love and talking to this person who means everything to you. I always feel so good when I get to voice lines like that. Charlie, I love him when he's being big and goofy and loud, or even big and serious and loud. Chase, I love him when he is at his most genuine and his most caring. This boy is full of love, and I love getting to portray that.
That is something my little one comment to that is that there were a couple times while audio editing the episode that I stopped and I had to go, I'm gonna cry, man. Or I had to like lay down on the bed and go, oh man, it's real. And Chase and Tina, not even the kiss specifically. The kiss did get me, but even before that was Chase and Tina talking to each other. There's a moment where it's been said on the Storytime Q&As a couple times. Chase Bradbury, his superpower, his protagonist power is being kind. The sheer fact that his conversation with Tina right before the kiss is him telling her that she's kind, and she's like, yeah, someone has to be kind. That got me. I know I wrote it, but that hearing it in the voices, that got me. because he loves her because she's kind, and she loves him because he's kind, and it's important to me.
Are kind to each other. Can I undercut this moment slightly?
Mhm.
I do want to say shout out to the unused kissing noises I made because I wasn't sure if we were gonna need them.
Oh no.
I thought about using them. I actually
Oh,
played them, and
no.
it sounded better without, but I did actually like time it and everything, so I heard the kissy noise.
Sure if we needed them, so I recorded them. I kissed my hand.
Oh my god. There's a reason you don't really ever hear kisses in movies or like any sort of like in like any serious moment. It's because it sounds weird as hell.
Unfortunately, I watched the Penumbra podcast in which they do that frequently.
That's really funny. They're so cute. If I may point out other lines, one line from the boys that I'm really proud of, and everyone obviously talks about it because it was a very big deal in the episode. I didn't know when I was writing the scene that this was going to be the line, but as soon as I got to that point in the scene where Charlie is leaving, I knew that he had to say thanks for being the good one to Chase.
Oh, yeah, that
Fucked
one
me
hit.
up.
That
It
one
fucked
hit.
everyone up. Literally, I dropped the script in the cast and crew server for people to read, and I got several angry DMs from several people going, "That's the most heartbreaking shit I've ever seen."
Mhm.
What the fuck was that?
Can't wait for that character development.
I recorded that line so many times I had to get it right.
You did.
I had to do it
Yeah.
justice.
It was
No,
so
yeah.
good. Other lines in general or monologues that I'm really happy with. I'm so happy with my favorite joke in the entirety of episode 13. My favorite fucking joke in episode 13 is Gil's line in all caps in the script. Because I miss the beach, Jennifer.
Oh my god. The fish is just homesick.
He missed the beach, and I was sitting there, I'm like, he needs to bring up the beach. It's important that he brings up the beach and how he missed the beach. And so I'm like, he has to say it. How do I naturally have Gil say that he missed the beach? Because Gil would never admit to such a thing. And then I'm like, no, he would scream it. Just, why would you say your feelings to a beach, Gil? Because I missed the beach, Jennifer.
Yeah.
And then Spy's delivery happened, and I lost it entirely.
Mm.
And so many people lost it. It was amazing.
Whenever Spy has to perform exasperated for either of the fish, it's hilarious.
It's so funny. And also, it's a line that I've had in my head for 2.5 years. Since the story started, since the casting call went out for season 1, this has never changed. The final line of season 1 was always going to be Amy Bradbury saying, "I think I met a god." It has never changed once. I've never even considered that maybe a different person should have a line or there should be a different phrasing. Never. It has always been that.
Gee, oh boy, oh my, is that an amazing segue into our next question, which I'm going to preface this right away. We've already kind of spoiled a bit of this episode. We've spoiled a bit of this episode. If you, for some reason, have not watched the episode at this point, what the hell are you doing here?
So true.
But okay, Bubbly, start talking about Luther. This is something that's brought up by a couple people, Apollo and Queen in particular. But Luther, what's his deal?
Luther Williams is based off of a few things. Specifically, Derelith, the realm that Gil and Luther and Nemo come from, is based off of a few different types of things. It's based off of Lovecraft mythos and other similar things like that. It's based off of Pokemon, and it's based off of Percy Jackson. All of those things have one thing in common, which is forces beyond your comprehension.
Yeah.
That was always part of it. I've always said that the original stories, all the characters' backstories are stories I originally made, and then I decided to scoop them all up and said, okay, what happens after this story? It's Realm Jumper now. The story that took place on Derelith was actually from the perspective of Luther's students. He was the twist villain in that story that I made. And obviously a lot of details changed. But Luther Williams has always been based off of the idea of So sometimes there are worlds that have child protagonists. How do the people around them feel about that?
Hmm. Oh yeah. Oh.
Because it's something that comes up, like, in Pokemon. You're playing a 10-year-old, or maybe sometimes older, they skew older now, but still, the point remains you are a 10-year-old going on this wild, fantastical journey, and eventually at the end of the game, you
You
will
fight
catch
God.
God in you will catch God in a Pokeball. Percy Jackson is a story all about demigods who are the children of Greek heroes, are the children of Greek gods, and the gods do not help them with anything. It is literally a plot point in Percy Jackson that the gods literally know that the demigods are dying to monsters, and they do nothing about it. And it always comes back to Percy Jackson. I literally have joked forever and ever that Chase and Tina are Percy and Annabeth coded, but I
Yep.
never, literally, the day that the live action casting was announced, I lost my mind.
Yeah. The live action cast of Percy Jackson literally just being Chase and Tina is
So many of my friends have sent me fan art of the Percy Jackson show, and when I thought this was Chase Realm Jumper in the
Yep.
wild.
Where are our royalties? Disney Plus pay up.
We can't expect shit from Disney. I don't expect shit from Disney.
Please, Father Mouse, please, a crumb.
A crumb of the billions of dollars you make on Disney Plus subscription.
And the funny part is that Amy's shadows technically are Nico. Amy's magic at the end of the episode was because Amy's always had that dark kind of magic in all the stories that I've put her in, and it's all very Nico coded. And I was like, yes, and those three are the only people who are Percy Jackson inspired in the show of Realm Jumper. And then, literally 6 months ago, I'm so not joking, 6 months ago, I finally realized, oh, Luther's actually just Luke.
Yeah.
Oh, but
Yeah.
that's always been the thing. That's always been the thing is that
It's far
considered
enough removed.
oh yeah, it's far enough removed. But that's always been the thing is that all of these in universe, all these stories happen to all these different kids, and always the parents are absent or don't know what's going on, and just in general, people don't help these kids out. And that has always stuck with me is okay, but if this is a lived in world, where are the adults?
Yeah.
What is the justification for why the adults aren't helping? Oh, the kids don't tell them anything? Cool. Well, these are middle schoolers. If they don't trust their parents, who would they trust? A
Their
teacher.
English teacher, of course.
Their English teacher. And from there, I had the idea of, okay, originally the concept was different, but for Realm Jumper specifically, it was, okay, so Luther finds out that his students are in danger. He cares about his students a lot. He's a good teacher. He cares about them. What's he gonna do about it? He's gonna go fight God.
Yeah.
The amount of
Yeah.
memes,
Yeah.
that any meme you've ever seen online that results in fist fighting God or killing God or I
Yep.
hate God, it doesn't matter what God they're referring to or if it's the vague concept of a deity, I guarantee you that meme has been sent in the Realm Jumper cast and crew server with the Luther emote attached to it.
Yep. I feel like and a lot of that speaks to like there is like so much like the weird inciting incident is that almost every single character got abducted in the middle of their story. Um and that's like a really interesting part that is like only like I feel like only lightly explored to some extent
Mm-hmm.
and is like I think it's explored enough. I think I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
like, playing Ollie and like his like really complex feelings about not wanting to go home for many reasons. But I also
Mm-hmm.
like there's so much of this story that I've been told that's like I want to tell other people this. It's like I need the details. But yes, let's just say that there if in the future I am on board to do prequel stuff.
I
And that can be
love
cut from this episode.
I have so much lore. I have so much lore. That's the thing. Realm Jumper only touches on 10%, I would say, of every single character's backstory. The closest we get to just having the full story is probably the Noir Trio. That's
Yeah.
probably the closest you get to having the full story of what actually happened.
Even then, you don't get specifics. It's always just like, oh yeah, I wasn't. Is like Oliver's like, yeah, I was an assassin. I killed people.
And we're
We
like,
don't actually
whoa,
even know that
what?
much about Jen, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah,
Jen is not.
Jen was
like,
stuck in a room.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I would I would love the future where we go and revisit those, and like whether it be
Oh, I want to in some capacity. I don't know what the capacity is yet. Stay tuned for that.
let's just say that I've seen some of Bridget. Oh my god, I've seen Bubbly's writing about I just like getting like more slice of life like prequel nonsense with like Oliver's like flirtatious nonsense towards a very jaded writer, and I want that in the public eye.
I also want it in the public eye. That's also something that it's actually very important to me that it comes across during the episodes, and I think it worked out really well, is that every single character in this show, this is something that fascinates me because it happens in real life. You are always an unreliable narrator towards yourself. That is something that in just in real life, you're always going to have only your version of events. And that's something that happens in Realm Jumper a lot, and it's really important to me. Like, Oliver talks about, I was an assassin. I killed for the bad people, and now I am free to do whatever I want. I was able to get out and go talk to Ryder, and we saved the day. And that's what you get. And then several episodes later, you find out from Jen that yes, Oliver was doing that. He neglects to mention that Jen didn't have the same opportunity. Not because he didn't care, but because for him, that was never as much of a concern. Jen didn't go out like him. To Jen, that was a big deal. And like, for Gil, Gil straight up lies all the time about his backstory because he's protecting Luther. But like, you hear from Gil what happened to him. He's like, oh, I was a pirate, it's not a big deal. And then Nemo comes out and it's like, I have a crew. I have a whole group of people that care about me and I need to get back to them. And Gil's like, yeah, I didn't really have that. I have Luther and I taught at a school together, and no one ever asks Gil in the show how he got to the academy or what he was doing. And so he's just able to skate on by. And Luther lies as well.
Luther.
You know, that's kind of the whole thing, is that he lies.
The Luther stuff emote getting into the
free.
It's free.
I drew that 2 years ago.
2 years ago, Sleepy drew an Among Us bean with Luther's clothes and hair and glasses, and we've never posted it anywhere except the cast server.
Back when Among Us was relevant. That's how long ago the show started.
So true.
Oh my god. Speaking of people who are sus, Bubbly. Bridget? Question mark from Tiny T-Rex. Yeah. I figured it.
You'll get to see Bridget again. Smiley face. She's not going anywhere. Smiley face.
She is. I'm picking her up ever so gentle. I hold her so soft in my hands. And you know where she goes?
Slam dunk in the garbage.
In the garbage. No, where's the garbage disposal?
Yeah. I work in a nondescript, let's say a nondescript grocery store as a warehouse associate, into the recycling bale compactor with Bridget.
Squish her, squeeze her.
There will be more Bridget.
There will be more Bridget. Fun fact about Bridget that isn't a spoiler. Bridget was in the original draft of season 1. Bridget was only going to show up in like 2 episodes. That did not stick.
Yeah.
She was supposed to show up in episode 2 to introduce the storybooks, and I said, cool, and then we won't see her again. And then we realized we had to establish her relationship with Gil. Because her relationship with Gil is very important, obviously. We couldn't just drop that out of nowhere, so we started establishing her more. And then she had to talk to Charlie because he was alone, and we went, we can't hide this anymore. She needs to be here. But let it be known that in the early days, Bridget was so non-important to season 1 that she's not in the original art lineup. She's in the art lineup for season 2, but literally the only ref we had of Bridget was a ref I made for my personal reasons. Juno didn't make a ref for her because I didn't tell Juno about Bridget, because I'm like, she's not important. She's just the librarian. She'll come up later in season 2, but she's only going to show up like once or twice in season 1. It's fine. We don't need a proper ref for her. And then she showed up everywhere.
Yeah. She's everywhere.
Cockroach.
Everywhere I look. Oh yes. Here's a question from Kara. I guess this is a little bit similar to a previous question, but also just like it's nice to check up on this at the season end now, knowing that this is only the second episode of Storytime Q&A that you've been a part of, Sleepy. But from Kara, how does it feel now that you're at the end of the season to have played characters who are distinct variants of each other and yet have them be extremely distinct?
So I know the question is about the boys.
Yes, the boys.
I know it is about the boys. However, I'm gonna get real fucking mushy. I'm gonna level with you, chat.
This isn't a stream, Sleepy.
Your chat in spirit. Say hi, chat, in the comments.
Hi, chat.
Hi, chat in the comments.
But I'm gonna level with you. Fuck Bubblytarts. My life has been irreversibly changed for the better. I have made friends. I have traveled to places to meet these friends. I have lifted Bubbly, and both times I did it, I played the Realm Jumper theme as they entered the door.
Yes, this is true, actually.
I have grown emotionally as a creator. I live stream consistently. I've learned how to video edit. I have made little videos for my friend's webcomic. I wrote a script for my own show.
Plug, plug, plug. You can't see it yet, but plug, plug, plug.
Plug, plug, plug. Keep your eye out on things. Role swap. The little secret peek behind the curtain. The role swap. Bubbly's one of my leads.
Tee.
But no, goofiness aside, Realm Jumper has changed my life in an irreversibly positive direction. I am a new person because I got the chance to work on this project and to meet the people I have. I literally cannot imagine what my life would be had I not joined this project. And I think that's amazing. To answer the actual question as to how does it feel to voice characters that are the same, I don't think I knew what I was signing myself up for.
That's so fair.
Because I think the even crazier thing, and it kind of ties around into how much my life changed, I did not know how this project was going to change me. My involvement in Realm Jumper happened because a different friend of ours who works on the show, who I knew, because I literally did not know anyone else but this one person, said, "Hey, Sleepy, you should audition for the boys. I think you'd be a really good fit." And me, who had been a content creator at the time and working on various other projects, who was really like looking into doing other things, was like, yeah, that sounds like a great time. That sounds like a lot of fun. And I was like, okay, so I'll be voicing 2 characters and their multiversal variants. I actually have another dirty little secret. I used to hate multiverse shows.
Don't worry, I was aware of this.
I thought that they were like, I was like, it's so complicated. Like everything intermingled. I'm a filthy multiverse enjoyer now. I am not immune to the propaganda. But yeah, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and I don't think anyone did. But as regards to like the boys and being variants to each other, it was a wall, and I instantly started climbing it, and I feel like it is a very satisfying feeling like it didn't take me very long to get over that wall. It's not the best in the first couple of episodes, but then you hit episode 3, And I just remember B going to me and being like, "Hey, Sleepy, I know I put you in a tough position, making you voice the boys talking to each other, but they were so distinct. I think you did an amazing job." And I was like, "Oh shit, I'm doing it. I'm doing the thing." I know I sound like I'm not taking this seriously. I am incapable of not undercutting my genuine moments with humor. It's almost like I'm a Twitch streamer or something.
Being genuine, what's that? Next question. I don't know. I'm sorry. Do you have something else to say?
No, that's a good transition. Next question. Okay. Fuck you. You don't get to know me.
Yes. Moving to Bubbly. We kind of touched on this a little bit briefly, but this is a little bit of a combo question from Megan Waffle. Seeing how the show progressed over the season, what are some things that you would do differently, either creatively or production-wise? And then following up from that, from Waffle, is there a specific way you're planning on tackling season 2 in a different way to season 1? You have already voiced some, frankly, horror stories about late nights and all that nonsense.
Oh yes. What I learned very quickly is that the content that your backlog will never last as long as you think it's going to. That is my tip to new creatives. Your backlog is fake. Your backlog is fake. Your backlog, you will say, oh, the moment you turn your back to your backlog, it disappears. I am being so for real. If you want a consistent upload schedule of any way, you need to immediately figure out what that upload schedule is, and you need to stick to it. That's actually the reason why we have the late nights, is because I know that the second I allow myself to slip up, then we will lose the schedule entirely.
And also, like, thanks. I think this is a special shout out, not just to the amazing work that the music crew does, but for providing a wealth of content for us to have in the middle interim point.
You get so much music coming your way. You have so much more music coming your way. We still have so many tracks. The music team, they've put so much work into the show, and we still have so many tracks for you guys to listen to. It's gonna be great.
Realm Jumper OST coming soon.
So true. So that's a very easy one to say, is that your backlog's never going to last as long as you think. Just in general, be organized and stick to it. Be willing to give when it's important. Be willing to give, be understanding of people, but stick to your guns. If you have a deadline that you need someone to meet, you make sure that you are willing to talk to that person and work out whatever needs to get worked out so that that can happen. It is so easy, especially with a team, because Realm Jumper has a lot of people working on it. It is so easy on a big team to get lost in everything that is going on, just in the sheer amount of people and the sheer amount of schedules. I have a list somewhere of all this information I gathered from people at the beginning of season 1 that has people like, oh, do you prefer voice talking or text talking? Like, do you prefer being in a call to talk about stuff, or you prefer being in text? Is there anything that I need to know that I shouldn't talk to you about? Is there anything that are there specific deadline things that you'll need to know in advance? Is there a certain time of the year that you will not be around? I have so much information that typically I don't need. I think I've only used that sheet once or twice. But it's so important to be on top of your team, because if you are the director of the show, which I am in this case, if you're the one in charge of the show, you need to be on top of that, because this is advice that I heard from someone else, I don't remember who, a very long time ago, and it is so true. No one is ever going to love your show as much as you do. This goes for any sort of creative project. All of your friends can love your stuff. A lot of people in Realm Jumper have told me that it's like a comfort show, or that it's just something super important to them. Sleepy just went on about it, and I love that so much. No one is ever going to love your content as much as you do, and so you need to make sure that it is something you are proud of. Those are my 2 other pieces of advice, is if it is something that you are not proud of, you do not have to put it out there. You can, because there's also something to be said for putting out something that isn't perfect. But if you're not proud of it, no one is telling you have to put it out. Be willing to hold yourself to a standard, whatever your standard is. Put yourself to that standard, because if it's your content with your name on it, you deserve, if someone ever asks you, oh, what do? You deserve to be proud of saying, I made this thing. I made this thing happen. And my other thing is that if you want to be friends with all your cast members, that's cool. If you don't want to talk to any of them and keep it purely professional, that's good too. Whatever you want to do, whatever is best for your project, be willing to talk to people like they are business partners. Because I have a lot of friends who work on the show. I also have a lot of people on the show who I have only talked to through this show. And I am so glad that I have all of these people. Some of them I have very good relationships with. Some of them I don't talk to them outside of Realm Jumper because we are simply too busy to do that. And that is okay. Everyone should have the same amount of professionalism. If you go to someone because you need help with something or you need them to do something, be willing to talk to them about it. Be kind. Always be kind. It is so important to be kind. But also, know that you are the director of the project. And so it is your project, and these people have signed up to work for you. And that is it's a very hard lesson to learn, but it is one that instantly will improve the quality of all of your stuff. If you treat it like a business thing instead of a friend thing. Again, ignore all of this advice. If you just want to make a silly little show with your friends, then ignore all of this advice. Have a grand old time. Congratulations, that's so cool. But if you're looking to make like a bigger project, like a Realm Jumper scale or even bigger project, that is my advice. And those are all things that I wish I had known going into season 1, but I just didn't because I was brand new. So now I point directly like Uncle Sam into the camera. If you are starting a new project, that's the advice I would give to you.
Yeah.
Things I'm doing going into season 2, more backlog.
Yeah.
Basically, anything I just said, I'm trying to use moving forward into season 2. There's a couple things on the actual production side that I'm going to be changing on season 2, but in general, those are things that the audience doesn't really know about, like the structure of how we're going to be doing, like when do we bring in the voice actors to do work, and when do we put deadlines for musicians, and just I pulled those things out of my butt. But like stuff like that, those things might change a little bit depending on what we've seen works and what doesn't work over the course of season 1. But those are things that the audience doesn't care about. But in general, we're going to streamline a lot more stuff, which is just going to make everyone's lives easier. And yeah, just in general, a lot of stuff that's going to change is stuff that we probably should have done, but we just didn't know because we're a bunch of brand new people to this. And now that we know better, we're going to do better.
Okay, so our final question is from Tiny T-Rex. This is for both of you. What was your favorite part of this show to work on? What was your favorite part of the show?
As much as I'm being a silly little goober and being like, oh, I want to work on like everything. I want to get my grubby mitts on each part of production because I am a completionist.
Yeah.
My heart and soul and my passion for this project is always going to be the voice acting. I love doing the art. I've actually found a great love of video editing from working on episodes 12 and 13. I love voice acting more than I can say. One of my biggest anxieties when the show was happening and the show was coming out was I actually had a jaw surgery in the middle of production.
Yep.
And Bubbly can attest, I literally said, hey, if something goes wrong and I can't talk, keep the show going. I was so sad.
Let it be known, actually, that this was such a saga that literally when I told Sleepy, you are one of the callbacks for Chase and Charlie, letting you know to keep an eye on your DMs in the next couple days in case you get picked. That was when they're like, by the way, I have this thing looming over me. Just letting you know if that affects anything. And I went, cool.
Happened until November 2023, by the way.
It took so long.
It took so long. And it's kind of just followed me that just like, I love voice acting. If I can ever do the one thing for this show, it's going to be voice acting. It follows me. everywhere, and it's great, and I'm always looking for ways to improve. And even though I'm taking on other projects and I'm like doing more creative work, even my own stuff, Realm Jumper voice acting is always going to be my heart and soul. It has taken priority over so many things in my life. I have canceled plans. I have changed plans to make sure I get my VA work done. I had to sit and go, cool, I'm getting my braces off. Can I still do the boys? I have a retainer now. Can I still do the boys?
Yeah.
My life revolves around these stupid blonde men, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's so funny.
Bubbly.
Production. See, I do love all elements of production, even the ones I'm not involved in. I love seeing all the different pieces come together. Every time I'm on this show, I tell people, hey, by the way, I love seeing all the different pieces come together because it's such a joy to see. I cried like 6 times editing the finale because just various scenes would get done and I'm like, oh my god, it's real. Oh my god, it happened. But for me, the production side of things, my favorite part of production that I actually work on is the writing. I have written, I think, 4 scripts for season 1, which was episode 1, episode 4, episode 8, and episode 13. So that's the first episode, the mid-season, episode 4, which was a lot of introduction stuff, and the finale. When I wrote the pilot, I knew every single thing that was going to happen in that pilot. I knew every single detail of it. And I finished it, and I sent it to people, and the casting call had just gone out the casting call, was out, and to keep myself from going insane about the casting call, I was writing the first episode. And I was so happy with it. I'm still so happy with it, because I think it immediately establishes what the show is, what the vibe is, which characters you're going to be following, why they're important, and what the stakes are. I put so much work into that first episode, and I was so proud of it, and I was so happy that people enjoyed working on it. The fact that the first episode got such good reception was such a big deal for me. Episode 4 was the one time I allowed myself a fun episode. So that was just fun because I got to write fun character stuff. That is, although also I managed to sneak in evil plot things because that is in fact the episode where Oliver and Charlie hang out all day.
Plot.
Plot.
So wholesome. Nothing bad could possibly happen.
Oliver doesn't say anything concerning.
Yes, at all.
And then the mid-season. The mid-season is the thing that got the show made. So writing that was a really big deal. But again, it was the thing, I knew every single thing that was going to happen in it.
That fucking monologue that you gave me.
I was so happy with it.
Oh, I love it so much.
And I was so happy getting to see that come to life because the mid-season is also the least changed from the original pass of Realm Jumper, because again, there's a beta version of Realm Jumper that was completely different, and I'm glad we're not doing the beta version, but the mid-season is virtually unchanged, which is just it's so wild that's why it's also got a special little place in my heart, because I'm like, this is the closest I will ever get to the beta version being real, which again, the beta version was not good, but still, it's the thing of that's a thing that I made. Even before the show was properly made, I made all those things happen. That's really cool. And the finale was so weird because, honestly, when I wrote it, I didn't know if I liked it or not. Which is weird to say because I just went on a whole ramble about how hold yourself to a standard, and I did, and I knew it was good, but I was having a really hard time when I wrote that script. A bunch of stuff in my real actual life was just going awful. And I had so little faith in so many things, and I could tell that it was affecting my ability to work on Realm Jumper, but I needed to write that finale script. And so I wrote it, and I put everything in there, and I put all my emotions in there, and I went, man, on the page, this reads exactly like what I want it to, like what I want, but I can't hear it. And I sent it off because I knew that it was the best that it was going to get. Again, still very proud of it. I just didn't know if I believed myself about it. It was that little nagging feeling in the back of my head of like, could you have done this better? And then, as I was doing the audio editing for it, I chose my words very carefully just a moment ago where I said I couldn't hear it in my head. Because the moment that I started doing the audio editing, and I heard Charlie doing his monologue to Luther, and I heard Chase and Charlie talking to each other, and I heard Gil and Luther on the beach, and I heard Jen and Oliver and Ryder talking, and Amy showing up at the academy, which I've been waiting on for 2 years, Luther's backstory, Amy's reveal, all of that stuff that I've been sitting on technically for 2.5 years, but technically even longer. I know that it was right around at the very beginning of the Chase and Charlie scene that I went, no, actually, I'm actually really happy with this script. This is exactly how the show should end its first season. And that's to tie it all together. My favorite part is the writing because I love getting to write these characters that I've had in my brain for so long. We're actually coming up on 10 years since I made Chase Bradbury. He's almost 10 years old.
That's a little scary.
In November of 2024, it will be 10 years since I created the character. And it's so interesting. It's so fun. It's a completely different feeling from anything that I've done before. Getting to Chase and Tina talking on the bench, kissing for the first time. I had to sit there and I'm like, technically, because I never wrote down in like a proper format that I can share with anyone, the actual story of Chase and Tina, technically, this is their first kiss to a degree. It's something really special. I'm getting mushy.
Me mushy.
Oh.
Wee.
More people need to answer this question.
It's a really neat question. People should make me cry. Points left, points right.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to get too deep into this because I feel like this. Well, behind the scenes, I'm actively thinking of a way to do something with everyone else because I think because everyone who works on the show fucking loves working on it. At least that everyone I've talked to who has worked on it, who has voice acted, who's done music, who's done writing, who's done editing. Everyone loves working on the show, which is not something I can say about a lot of other projects I've worked on. And I want to hear more people like that. That's part of the reason why I was like, hey, we should do a talk. I don't know if I was the person that
You approached me.
doing something like, hey, we should do a talkback show, is because I want to hear, because I know I fucking love doing this. I want to hear more
I love
people
the
do
talkback
it.
show.
So yes. So stay tuned for that. There is no next episode, at least in the dated future. But there will be more Realm Jumper coming in season 2 in the far off future. No titles yet, no nothing, but there will be a second season. And in terms of other things to fill up the interim, we have a lot of plans. There's still a ton of music that needs to get released. Again, Realm Jumper Season 1 OST coming out soon. And yeah, there will be a ton of other off-season content. A lot more stuff that's maybe not as mushy as this because I don't tear up over a lot of things, and I'm starting to tear up right now.
What if I cried?
I did too.
But yeah, thank you both so much for doing this. Thank you, Bubbly, so much for creating this amazing show and allowing me and everyone else that is working on it to be a part of it.
I'm so glad I'll cry.
Thank you, Bubblytarts, for ruining my life. I would do it all over again in a heartbeat.
I love you so much.
Yeah. And until next time, stay tuned and yeah. Bye.
And now we kill the bot.